Hello, Tamara here. Welcome to the show. Today's guest is Anil Gupta. He's a triple best-selling international author and TEDx speaker, positively impacting very large audiences all over the world. Thanks for joining me, Anil.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to help your audience.
Yes, I think you have some good stuff, and you're also known as the love doctor, so I will pick your brain for sure.
Absolutely, and the advice I'll be giving is practical, immediate, and proven.
That's always helpful. Yeah, a lot of people read about stuff, but they don't know how to do it. So that's definitely going to be. So what got you started in this, or what is your main method, wherever you want to start?
So really, I've developed something called the happiness formula. You see, we were never told about any formula. So we're basically guessing. Once we have a formula, we can test it, we can double test it, we can back test it. And the formula is this: to live a richer, fulfilled life, a happier life. The formula is this: happiness is equal to G times G times G. So basically G cubed. The first G is you have to give your time, your energy, your love, your commitment, your joy, your gift, your money. Give it away without wanting anything back. Now, when you give to someone, they feel good. You feel good. The person observing the giving feels good. The person sharing the act of giving feels good. The person receiving the sharing of the act of kindness feels good. And the person observing the sharing of the act of kindness feels good. So there's a huge ripple effect. The second G, you have to be grateful for what you have and not focus on what you don't have. So on August the 25th, 2025, I was playing pickleball, like I do every morning, but I slipped and fell. And I fell badly, well, awkwardly, I would say. And I fractured my wrist. And I knew it was fractured immediately. And I was upset for 10 seconds. Then I was filled with gratitude. Do you know why, Tamara?
Because you can still function, live. I'm not sure.
Well, I live for pickleball. And it was my left hand. I'm right-handed. And then in that moment, not only was I grateful, but I thanked the people around me. So in that moment, I did the second G, which is the first G is give. The second G is be grateful for what you have and don't focus on what you don't have. So I focused on, my right hand's good, my left hand isn't so good, but I don't play pickleball with it, and I will. And the third G is this: is you have to grow emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. And in that moment, I asked myself, look, Anil, my score is a 1 for giving, it was a 1 for gratitude, and it was a 1 for grow in that moment. Then I asked myself, how could I grow? I said, you know what? You could change your mindset. You could think of the positive thoughts. You could, teach people lessons here. You could share this with other people. So my score went from 1 to maybe 5 which is 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125. So my level of happiness increased 125 times just in the space of a few minutes. And it's a muscle I've developed. And once you develop this muscle, everything gets easier.
Yeah, it's funny because you said that. When I played pickleball, I actually did hurt my right wrist, which is my dominant one. So, but luckily, I didn't fracture it. Luckily, so that was I was grateful that I just had to put it in a brace for a couple of days.
Yeah, and tomorrow I just bought a new paddle, and I think I didn't want to hurt it or break it, so I protected that, which is a good thing because it protected my right hand.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love the 3 Gs. That's that. It's exactly what you need to do. Yeah, it's very once you say it, it's obvious, but not many people think to do it. Especially as quickly as you did.
Yeah, it's very powerful and it's very practical. If something happens in your life and all of a sudden you don't feel good, ask yourself this question: which of those 3G buckets has fallen down? And then just work on the lowest one. Always work on the lowest one. Someone says something to you, you're stupid, you're a failure, you're not good enough. Okay, you're going to react maybe, and then it's going to go down. And then you say, hey, what am I reacting to? Which bucket has dropped? It's the emotional bucket. And then you can respond and not react. And then you say, you know what? The truth is, I am kind, I am generous, I am playful, I am fun. People love me. and then you can raise that level immediately.
Yeah, makes sense. And then how do you parlay this into the like dating atmosphere, dating sex relationship realm?
So when you become a happier person, your vibrational energy changes. When your vibrational energy changes, you'll start attracting different people in your life. Now, the second part of this is this. Do you know why there's at least a 90% fail rate in relationships? Did you know what that was? What it was that high?
I mean, I know divorce rates are high, and I know a lot of people break up. So yeah, I don't. 90% does seem high, but it's
Okay,
definitely
so,
not
and I'll tell you why. So how many relationships do people have before they get married?
many.
Many. So let's
Yeah,
say 8. Okay.
yeah,
They get married, the ninth one, and there's a 50% fail rate on the marriage. So when they get married, they've had 8 failed relationships. They have a 100% fail record. What makes you think that the next one is going to be the right one? It's guesswork, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. And this is a game changer. Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. The reason relationships fail is this. People say yes to a relationship without collecting data, without doing their due diligence. And they'll go into a relationship until they find out that it's a no, that it doesn't work. And then they'll go to the next one and the next one. But they're doing it the wrong way round. You know, if you were to buy a house or a car, you would do your due diligence. What's the right car for me? What's the valuation? How much is it worth? Where's the location? Any repairs, renewals, amenities, how far from work, traffic? You do your due diligence. But people don't do that in relationships. They fall in love. They think, oh, she's the one. But every single one of those 8 relationships that failed, you thought this was the one. So don't do that. Collect your data first. Make an informed decision. And the data you have to collect is under 3 criteria. Number 1, any partner that you choose must have integrity, must be their word, do what they say they're going to do, be kind, be generous, not cheat, not lie, be honest, be on time. The second criteria is they must be loving, not just to you, but to everyone. You know, a lot of relationships are transactional. Oh, I'll be nice to you, but I want you to be nice back to me. I'll do that for you, but I want this back from you. And the third is that they have to be healthy, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. You have to find out if they have passed the 3-way test, because you don't want to end up with a narcissist, an alcoholic, an addict, an abuser. You don't want that, because it creates baggage. Now, my daughter used this formula. Tomorrow, first boyfriend she got, she married.
Mm.
Now, I wasn't happy with her choice. She asked me, Dad, what's the score out of 10? And I said, honey, I'm not happy. And she started tearing up. I said, honey, I don't know how you did this, but he's a 12. He's amazing. You can see the relief on her face. I do that a lot to her. And no baggage, no trauma,
Yeah.
nothing. They will be together for the rest of their lives because they're beautiful people. And it just saves so much aggravation, so much stress, so much worry when you don't bring all of that stuff to a relationship.
Yeah. And are there certain questions you ask, or you just observe in general, or like how do you make sure they don't have that stuff?
So it's ABCD. Always be collecting data. Never believe what they tell you until you have confirmed it. So, do you like dogs tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like cats?
Better, yes.
Okay. What? Let me think of something else. Okay. So imagine that on my profile, I like dogs, and you want to please me, so you're going to say I like dogs, but I want you to lie to me. Okay. So you don't really like dogs, but you're just lying to me. Okay. So we'll role play. Hey, Samara, do you like dogs?
Yeah, really.
Okay. What's your favorite dog?
Schnauzers.
Uh-huh. And how many of them have you owned?
My parents owned one.
Yeah. Do you have a photo of it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no.
Okay. So immediately I know you're lying. Can you see that? Because of your energy, you don't say, "Oh, I love dogs. Oh my God, my favorite dog is." That's what a normal person would do. So this is just a simple example. If they say, "Oh, I'm going through a divorce," what does that mean? Have you just started? Is it, uh, is it controversial? Is it combative? Is how many kids are involved? How long is this going to take? What stage are you at? Don't believe them until you collect the data.
Yeah.
You have to collect the data, and you can do it lovingly. But spending 2-3 hours with someone and finding out, oh, we like the same color, we like the same movies. No, that's not data. The important stuff is, are they integrous? Are they healthy? Are they loving? So
Yeah.
find out about their parents, about their previous girlfriends. If you say, hey, what was your last girlfriend like? And if they start ranting off negatively about that person, you know that they're not really healthy. They're still holding on to something. Are you still in communication with all your exes? Oh, yeah, I get on really well with them. Again, that's going to maybe cause some problems.
Yeah.
So it's always be collecting data.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see where that would have been helpful in the past.
And then tomorrow, if you look at a failed relationship in the past, ask yourself, did they have integrity? Were they loving? Were they healthy? And it will always be either a 1 out of 3 or 0 out of 3. But
Yeah.
nice people will tend to say, well, yeah, they were, but they really weren't. You can't be letting people off the hook because it's too serious. This is about your life. This is about the quality of your life. So you're going to be spending at least 50% of your time with your partner.
Yeah. And what if you're, no, it's not long term necessarily, but I guess either way, you probably want to have all that.
Really, it's because when you say no to that person, it allows you to say yes to the right person who may just be around the corner. I've been married 37 years and 23 days. Every morning, Tamara, my wife, and every evening, my wife puts toothpaste on my toothbrush for me. Every time I see that brush waiting for me in the morning, I'm just filled with love. And for the audience, the reason I'm saying she does that is because I can't. I've only got one hand. Every time I try and put toothpaste on the toothbrush, it keeps on rolling over because I've got a fractured wrist. But it's a beautiful thing, and it's the small things that are the big things.
Yeah. So in dating, like you said, you just ask those kind of questions, or like you said, always checking and verifying. And if they get offended that you're verifying, should that be a sign that they're probably doing something? Or it's more of the loving way that you would do it?
It's got to be in a loving way, but also, preempt it or say, hey, I hope you don't mind, but I ask a lot of questions. Does that bother you? And if they say, no, it doesn't bother me, and it does bother them, they're not telling the truth. But there's easy ways to find out about a person. Ask them about their parents. How do they get on well with them? How often do they speak to them? What's amazing about their parents? Who do they speak to most? What's your relationship like with your mom, with your dad, with your grandparents, with your brothers, with your siblings? And notice their tone and physiology. So you have to be very alert and observant because people, the problem with dating tomorrow is this. When people date, they show up the best versions of themselves. So they want to get to the next date and the next date. So the secret is don't date. Go for a walk, go for a hike, go for a cycle or a run, or do something different and observe them in real life. When it's a dinner date, there's pressure, there's alcohol, it's late at night, and obviously you want to show up the best version. But if you're going for a coffee, you can see them in real life. Are they present to you? Are they listening to you? Are they distracted by other people? So this is all data.
And then, do you want to translate that to the sex side of things?
I would much rather focus on love. And the sex is the physical consummation of love.
True.
But again, A, B, C, D, if you're out with someone, don't have sex with them and see how angsty they get, how upset they get. If they get upset after 2 or 3 meetings, they're not right for you because that's all they want. And if they're willing to wait and they're patient, that tells you that they are loving and that they do care and that they are respectful. Because once you have sex, you've basically given up, or, a lot of your rights, a lot of the gameplay, and they win. But if you just take your time, and then sex will be a consummation of the love, and it'll be a natural process. That there won't be like, this angsty upset over not having that. It'll just naturally occur, and then you'll know because it'll be a beautiful situation. Everybody wins.
Do you advise people to just get out of them, or is there a way for, like, if they don't have the 3 Gs, the relationship stuff, the integrity, and the other 2 you mentioned?
Loving and healthy.
Yes, thank you. If you don't have those 3, or do you suggest they just get out of it if they're already like married to someone like that, or is there a way to overcome it or kind of grow those parts and
So the number one thing I always advise people: work on yourself first. Be the best version of you. Do a score. How integrous are they? How loving are they? How healthy are they? And see if that you can bring up their score. Because if you've invested time in the other person, it would only be fair that you try and bring them up and bring yourself up and ask yourself, is this a game changer? Is this a deal breaker? So if they're cheating on you and you know it, and they've done it more than once, is it a game changer? Is it a deal breaker? It is. Okay, great. What's stopping you from breaking up? Well, I'll be alone. What if no one wants me? And blah, blah, blah. But is that what you want in life? Are they an addict? Are they a narcissist? Are they treating you well? Are they abusing you? Is this a game changer? Is this a deal breaker? And you've got to make that decision because this is your life. You can't be stuck in a mediocre life. It's just horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it sounds so easy, but easier said than done. I mean, once you're already in it.
Well, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
I know how to lose weight. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah. Very good point. Do you want to give examples of some people you've coached on dating and love, or?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I do in my coaching practice is a forgiveness exercise. Forgiveness is the express pathway to freedom. The quality of your life is dependent on the depth and authenticity of the forgiveness you extend to yourself and to others. We beat ourselves up. I was suicidal in 2008, and I would beat myself up because I thought I was a failure. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't deserving. That, quite frankly, I shouldn't be on the planet. And I had these suicidal thoughts. Forgiveness is everything. You need to forgive your parents, your previous relationships, forgive yourself. And that is that will allow you to show up in a different vibrational energy. And when you show up in a different vibrational energy, you will be a lot more attractive to other people. You'll be more peaceful, more joyful, and a lot happier too.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you apply the 3 Gs when you were suicidal back in 2008, or what was how did you overcome that?
I didn't know about the 3 Gs, but I did it by accident. I remember I started to give. In the moment you give authentically, all the pain and suffering that you're experiencing disappears. You cannot be unhappy in the moment you give. So I started giving. I felt good. So I started doing events, 5, 10, 15, 100, 500, 10,000 people. And I felt good. I wrote a book, a bestseller book. TEDx, Fox News, Sky TV, ABC, NBC, iHeartRadio, Harvard. Felt good. Because I was serving people. And I was grateful that I still had a place to live, that my wife was still with me, my kids were still with me. Gratitude played a part. And then I grew emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. But I didn't know about the formula until I wrote the book. And then after writing the book, I said, Anil, what did you do? Then I thought, oh, I did this. I thought, oh my God, I have a formula. So I did it unintentionally. And this is what people do, but they can't work it out. But now we have a formula. This formula will work every single time.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And do you want to talk about how people can reach you or work with you or find out more information?
Sure. I'm on a mission to move, touch, and inspire 1 billion people. And the best way to find out more about me and my work, which is, very powerful, very practical, and you've experienced that today, is my website is meetanil.com. And my email is anil@meetanil.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok and LinkedIn. And please just go on my website. Enjoy the content. It's life-changing.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Do you have final thoughts or closing comments you want to make?
Yeah. So there's one thing that I did that changed my life. And I would encourage all the listeners to do this one thing, which is this. Be so amazing that you cannot be ignored. And if you are ignored, it doesn't matter, because how you show up will be this magnificent soul. Be the best version of you, and your life will change. The people's lives around you will change.
Oh, amazing stuff. Thank you very much. Short and sweet, to the point. Like I said, simple, but not easy. So,
yeah. And that was the promise we made at the beginning, that it's practical, powerful, and immediate effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on. And if you love this episode, be sure to tell your friends about it and rate it as well. And of course, follow the show. So thank you so much, Anil, for being on.
Yeah. Thank you, Tamara, for having me on the show.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Frank Talk, sex and dating educates.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to point out that there is a send us a text message at the very beginning of the description, and you can use that to send an anonymous question or comment. So I'd really appreciate it. All right. Thanks.